Hello, welcome to the first installment of the HOPE info series. As a quick reminder, HOPE stands for Housing Options Prevent Exclusion. Through this info series, we'll be trying to create the space for education and conversation that will give San Diego the opportunity to achieve more hope for our future. So for the first segment of our series, we'll be looking ahead and planning for now. To get started, hi, my name is Nicole Lilly. I'm the Housing Projects Director at Our Time to Act United. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a rising third year political science student at UC San Diego, but also, and importantly, I'm a young resident of San Diego, and I'm very passionate and strongly invested in the future of my community. If you're watching this video, it may be that you missed the first synchronous Zoom session, but I'm very happy to have you now and look forward to meeting and getting to know all of y'all in a future session or opportunity. So with that, let's jump into a quick overview of what we'll cover in today's video. So first, who are we? Some of you may know us already, but for those of you who don't, what is Our Time to Act United? What is our mission? What do we do? And then we will jump into looking ahead. What is housing justice? What does it mean to look ahead? What do we hope to accomplish? And how do we plan to do it? And what have we done already? And finally, and the main goal of today's video, how do we plan for now? What resources are there for housing at the local, state, and even federal level? All right, so Our Time to Act United, or more affectionately, AUTA. Who are we? We're a completely youth-founded, youth-run 501c3 nonprofit organization based here in the San Diego area. So what is our mission? Our mission here at AUTA is to organize powerful youth for an inclusive, equitable, and sustainable future. We work to achieve this mission through our projects and programs. These include, well, obviously our housing projects, but also our voter engagement projects, as well as our amazing programs under advocacy and research and services. So there's much more to know about AUTA and many ways to get involved in and or support our work. And I'd strongly encourage connecting with us if you haven't already. And you can connect with us through our website or our Instagram, and there will be some more information later on. But let's go ahead and get started in looking ahead. So much of our work so far has been in trying to achieve housing justice in our planning and long-term goals for housing, transportation, and climate action. So we'll be doing a quick overview of what housing justice means to us and how HOPE, or Housing Options Prevents Exclusion, plays a role in our vision for the future. We'll also quickly go over some of the work we've done so far in the pursuit of that future. So what is housing justice? Housing justice is essentially the fight for inclusion, equity, and sustainability in the future of housing for our San Diego community. It's applying that mission to housing in an effort to help provide solutions to the housing crisis. So what do we hope to accomplish through applying our mission in this way? What does this inclusive, equitable, and sustainable San Diego look like to us? Well, we think it looks like a city where you can easily connect with your friends and family, commute to work and school, and run your errands without spending the majority of your life rent-burdened and behind the wheel. To us, it looks like a city where you don't have to take your car everywhere and can experience diverse and unique experiences as you work, live, and grow alongside one another. We hope to accomplish a San Diego that will be a shining example of inclusive, equitable, and sustainable living through an emphasis on high density and mixed-use developments that allow for walkable, bikeable, non-exclusionary, and united neighborhoods. Now, I know that these are some big goals, so how do we plan to do it? To way oversimplify the issue, we need to build a lot more housing. Like I touched on a bit in our vision, we need more high-density housing, and we need to improve our infrastructure and public transportation simultaneously. For far too long, all of these areas have been neglected. And if we don't start on one because we don't have the others, rather than plan and develop them in tandem to achieve our goals, San Diego will be in some serious trouble. So AUTA seeks to find ways to communicate the urgency of the situation and change the disjointed, exclusionary way that housing planning is currently being done. So whether it's due to a lack of access to information, misinformation, or difference of opinion, we hope to provide the space for informed conversations on the housing crisis, how we got to this point, and how we move forward from here through organizing and mobilizing our entire San Diego community in a joint effort to combat an issue that affects all of us. So I really love this photo here. And it's from one of our most recent community events where community members got to apply the knowledge about housing that they were gaining from conversation in real time through creating our own little structures out of Legos. I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Yeah. So what we've done already. So I just kind of went over our Lego event, but we've also organized youth to participate in direct actions to combat the anti-housing narrative. And we've done this through things like delivering public comment at City Hall or participating in our pro-housing rally. So in addition to direct action, we've also held other community events with accessible hands-on activities with the goal of disseminating more information about housing justice in a fun way. So we've done this through individual community vision boards, like the one you see here, where participants got to express their vision for the future of housing and transportation in San Diego. But we've also had other creative approaches to complicated topics, like these boards here. So here we have the problem board where participants could write the symptoms of the housing crisis on the leaves of the tree, and with the root causes below. And also our solutions board where participants were encouraged to utilize the knowledge that they gained in their conversations throughout the event to come up with their solutions that allow this brighter future that they imagine for our city to blossom. So we understand that much of the work that we're doing in housing justice is pushing for long-term solutions to lasting and systemic problems. Due to the nature of housing and land use policy and development, the housing crisis is impossible to solve overnight. But that being said, we're also aware that many of the problems we intend to solve are everyday realities for many San Diegans, especially youth. So how do we plan for now? Well, we can try to connect people with resources that will begin to address some of the symptoms here of the crisis while we work to fight the root causes. So this doesn't just include resources specific to finding and retaining affordable housing options, whether through renting or homeownership, but also includes resources that help with the cost of things necessary to ensure equity and good quality of life that can sometimes be neglected when a majority of our income is forced to go towards housing costs. All right. So here we have an overview of the housing-specific resources that we'll discuss during today's video. I'll show this slide again at the end of the section of the presentation, but I will note that all of these resources are linked under the housing resources section of the housing page on AUTA's website, which you can find at autaunited.org/housing. Right there. All right. First up, we have the Affordable Rental Search tool. So this is a tool that offers a summary of affordable housing available in the city of San Diego. So this resource, like many that we will be looking at today, is provided by the San Diego Housing Commission. So with this resource, you can see an overview of the number of affordable units and properties available, as well as the number of inclusionary properties or project-based voucher units available in each district of the city. So more specifically, though, you can select a property on the map and receive an overview of that property, and it'll first show you the address, but also whether it's owned by the San Diego Housing Commission or not, and the year that it was built. Once you click further into it, though, the tool offers a larger property profile sharing what state assembly and city council district, as well as the community planning area that the property falls in, and how many affordable units are available, along with what, if any, programs the property is affiliated with. So it also gives you information on the transit available within 1 mile of the property. So it can kind of inform you how mobile you might be if you don't own a car at that property. So while not all of the properties listed on this site through this tool are currently open, this tool can allow folks to narrow their search to properties deemed affordable. So there's a search. Anyone who's searched for housing in San Diego knows that it's difficult, but this tool can really allow you to narrow it down and find properties that might be within your budget. So next we have the rental assistance program page. So even through the affordable housing, sometimes rent is still too expensive. So on this page, you can determine your eligibility for rental assistance through the San Diego Housing Commission, and if eligible, join the waitlist. So this site page also includes the rent affordability calculator. So this rent affordability calculator is a tool that those with rental assistance through a federal Section 8 housing choice voucher can determine if they can afford a specific rental unit in the city of San Diego. So this tool can be extremely useful when trying to understand what qualifies under certain programs and includes specificities like whether or not residents will be expected to pay for utilities like water. So that's definitely a helpful program to check out with some great resources. So next we have the Path to Success program. So this program was created to help families and residents become more financially self-reliant. A problem that can occur with rental and affordable housing programs is that individuals receiving assistance under these programs may feel forced to decline or avoid career advancement, bonuses, or promotions that would bump them just slightly above the eligibility requirements of their assistance program. These opportunities may provide some more financial advancement, but not always enough to support the full housing costs that are covered by their assistance. So they will decline these advancement opportunities to avoid losing the assistance that allows them to retain their housing. So the Path to Success program that the city offers accounts for this by modifying the method that the SDHC uses to determine the portion of monthly rent that residents pay to account for these career and financial advancement opportunities. And through this, it really encourages earnings increase and also hopefully eventual financial independence rather than discouraging taking on these opportunities or leaving residents who do take on those opportunities without sometimes still necessary support. So this is definitely a great program to be aware of. Before we jump into some of the more home ownership focused resources, I also want to include the SDHC's Affordable Housing Resource Guide for San Diego City. It's a complete overview of the resources provided, including some of the things I've gone over, but also things like single room occupancy hotel units and homeless shelters available throughout the city. If you're interested in taking a deeper dive into the housing specific resources available in San Diego, definitely recommend giving this guide a look. But with that, we're going to move on to the home ownership resources. So it's often argued that pushing for more housing options discourages home ownership. I disagree. And I believe that the current state of the housing crisis makes home ownership far less attainable. But that being said, the following resources can kind of help combat some of the barriers to home ownership. So for example, the Affordable for Sale Housing Program creates opportunity for low to moderate income first-time home buyers and residents of San Diego County, more specifically, to receive education, like homebuyer education classes, as well as the opportunity and eligibility to purchase their first home at an affordable below market value price. So this affordable for sale housing is housing that is available at that and sold at that below market value. So when these homes become available, there's certain eligibility requirements for first-time home buyers to purchase these homes. And this does not include any kind of assistance for purchasing those homes, but it does offer these homes at a more affordable price from the get-go. So it has more specific information about the eligibility on that page. It's definitely something to consider if home ownership is a part of your dream for your future. More information for first-time home buyers is there's another program. This is the San Diego Housing Commission's first-time home buyer program. So this program is an assistance program for single-family homes, townhomes, and condominium purchase. So instead of just offering these homes at a below market rate, these homes through this program, you're able to purchase a home or condominium through deferred payment loans. And they offer these loans for a percentage of the purchase price with a 3% interest rate cap. So this program is more focused on actual financial assistance with homeownership. I will also note that this program cannot be used on the housing available through the affordable for sale housing resource. So the below market value homes are not eligible under this program. That also is definitely something to check out. Finally, there's the Home Ownership Equity Project, which is a resource with the goal of addressing the disproportionate effect that the housing crisis and the history of housing policy has had on homebuyers of color. So this program offers assistance through a grant for closing costs, as well as a possible deferred payment loan with only a 1.5% interest rate. And there's more information on the assistance available as well as the eligibility. And again, all of these resources are linked on AUDA's housing webpage under the housing resource section. So that concludes all of the housing specific resources. And again, this is the kind of overview page of all the renting and homeownership resource opportunities. But we can kind of jump into the non-housing specific resources next. So some of these additional resources are very important because though housing specific resources are usually what we think of when we talk about housing assistance, there are so many costs that are associated with just equitable living that are not covered under these kinds of rental assistance programs that are also large costs for many residents. So some of those include CalFresh, or some of those costs, include food or medical insurance or utilities or just also a utility, but internet access is so important in this age. So some programs that we're going to go over are CalFresh, CalWorks, food distribution programs, other resources that have more information linked to them, medical insurance through Covered California, utilities assistance through SG and GE, and the Affordable Connectivity Program. So these combat the housing crisis symptoms more holistically. So first we have CalFresh. Actually, before I get into that, some of these are linked on our housing resource page. However, not all of them are. So the ones that aren't, I have included the links here. And just like with the housing specific resources, I will include this slide again at the end. So the first program resource is CalFresh. So through CalFresh, residents can see if they are eligible for programs like EBT, and CalFresh can definitely help significantly decrease the amount that residents have to spend every month on food costs, because often food and whether or not you'll have enough meals that week can be determined by your rent cost as well. So CalFresh is a really great program to consider to decrease the cost of food every month for residents. Next, we have CalWorks, which CalWorks is the California Work Opportunity and Responsibility to Kids program. So CalWorks is a public assistance program, and it provides both cash aid as well as aid through services to eligible families that have a child or children in the home. And this is a California statewide program, but this program doesn't only provide help with housing costs, but also food costs, kind of like CalFresh, but also utilities, clothing, medical care, etc. So if you are a family with a child or children in the home in need of cash or service aid and resources, seeing if you're eligible for CalWorks is definitely a great resource to check out. To kind of conclude food resources, Feeding San Diego has already an incredible resource and tool for finding food distribution. So if you're not eligible for CalFresh or for CalWorks, the food distribution tool available under Feeding San Diego has all kinds of different levels of eligibility for food distribution centers throughout the city, and it can find you a food distribution center that's going to be close to you. So this is also a great resource to check out because having enough food every month and being able to eat at the end of the day and afford rent or your mortgage payment is essential. So these are great resources to consider. Again, kind of how I did during the housing resources section, housinghelpssd.org has even more resources than I've included here in this presentation. So they have eviction resources as well as additional rental assistance resources that you may be eligible for if you're not eligible for the ones through the city or state. So housinghelpsd.org is also a really great resource to check out if you want to do a deeper dive into the housing resources available to you. Next, we have medical insurance assistance. So Covered California has this really great tool that can give you a quote for your medical insurance and really connect you with the most affordable plan for health, dental, vision, any kind of medical support. Having the appropriate insurance and support for medical coverage is really important as well. It can help you make sure that if something happens, if you get sick, if we enter another unprecedented health crisis like the pandemic, you have the resources necessary to take care of yourself, not only by putting a roof over your head, but taking care of your health as well. So this is a great resource to consider. SDG&E, it also provides payment and bill assistance programs for the different utilities. They have debt forgiveness programs and discount services for electric and water, and also just information on how to get an extension to pay your bill, as well as just all kinds of resources on this page that are great to check out for utilities assistance, because utilities can be a large addition to your housing costs on top of rent. So it's definitely something to consider, especially for San Diego residents. So though internet can sometimes be included under those utilities costs, the White House, as part of their infrastructure programs, have also implemented this affordable connectivity program. So ACP, or the Affordable Connectivity Program, can help connect residents with reduced costs or even free high-speed internet. So you can find if you qualify, and the qualifications are pretty low. So in 2023, internet is very important to have. With the pandemic, a lot of us work from home, or students definitely need the internet at home. So through this program, through the ACP program, there is a $30 cap to even possibly no cost for high-speed internet. So even if that means reducing, $70 that you spend every month on internet costs, this program is definitely something to consider. So again, here's the overview of all of those additional resources to consider. There's a lot of great programs and even more information on sites like housinghelpsd.org. So that kind of concludes the overview of the housing specific as well as additional resources. But what's to come? So what is to come with our Hope Info series? Well, we will be posting an info video next week on accessory dwelling units. Accessory dwelling units are a great opportunity for fighting the housing crisis, especially in already zoned low density areas. So definitely keep an eye out for that to be posted next week. And the next synchronous info session 2 weeks from now will cover community planning groups and how they shape housing policy in different areas of our city. So very exciting things to come. Since this was an asynchronous video, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. This is my email, but you can also follow us on Instagram or check out our housing specific page. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or clarifications on any of the videos that are coming up in this series. And if you have any suggestions for how I can improve. Thank you so much for attending, and thank you for having hope for more housing for San Diego.